That's the only kind of face I have.
Yep.
Hi, this is JT Thomas, and welcome back to another episode of Positive Feedback Loop, where we have great conversations with interesting people. Today, I am joined by Levi Elder here in Jefferson, Missouri. Levi, how are you doing this morning?
Good, man. Really good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining me and on this show. As you know, this is a project based upon gratitude for the people in my life that are just doing good things, and you are one of those people who are the time that we spend together. It's, I would say, quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So I kind of want to talk about how we got introduced and kind of the stuff that we've done together. So it was probably about 2017 when I was living in Columbia.
About 5 years ago.
5 years ago with our friends Chris, Michael, and Colby. Lived with those guys downtown Columbia, and what a ragtag team, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good way to say it.
Yeah. And how did you get involved with Michael and Colby? Because that's how we got connected.
Yeah.
That's how our paths crossed.
Yeah, we all played golf together in college. So Colby was neighbors with me. Mike moved in with him. We all kind of knew each other, stayed in touch, and then you and me actually didn't meet until about 3 years after that, because that was whenever you guys moved in. I just graduated college, started my job as a teacher, still came back to Columbia to have a good time with you guys, and yeah, we had met up one day when you guys were all living together in the house, and I think you and me hit it off really quick. And we just got along. It was, I don't know, personalities vibed, it felt good, it felt right.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You know, because I just feel like, at a time when I was at Mizzou and in college, there was just very fortunate to meet a lot of wonderful people. And it's like, if these are friends of Mike and Colby, he's got to be a good guy. And so you mentioned the best that we can in this economy, right?
Right, sure.
So you mentioned that you were teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so what got you into that profession? And then you also were a golf coach for the school as well. So how did you kind of
interesting story
merge those?
I showed up to first day of college. It was like a week before college. No, I guess it was a month before it started. We had the advising day. You're supposed to come in, talk about your major you want to do. I went into that day fully prepared to go biology. I was going to be a chiropractor. I was set on that. Oh yeah, funny, I know, with current situation, but that was my thought. And then as soon as I sat down in front of this advisor, I don't know what happened. I was just like, I want to be a teacher. And they were like, what in? And I just said, math. Like, I was just good at math. I don't know, it hit me in that moment. I went with it. I think it was a really good choice for me, even though I'm not currently a teacher anymore. I was for 5 years, but I love the impact I can make on kids. That was probably the best part of the first 3 years of my teaching. It was all about the kids. Yes, the teaching stuff was important. What I was instructing was very vital, I think, to their learning, but more for me, it was just the people aspect of that. A lot of these kids now are, God, I hate to say it, 22, 23. Oh yeah, they're in full-on party stages, Instagram messaging me, texting me. Some of them have my numbers from coaching. But man, I fell in love with that. Those kids were just great. The coaching was awesome. My first year I was an assistant, and then at age 22, right after this guy retires, my second year, I took over his head, was the youngest head coach in Missouri at that time. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. What was really crazy though is I'm 22 coaching 18-year-olds. That's not a lot of difference,
No.
So I had to find ways to separate myself, but at the same time I liked that we were that close in age because they saw me more, I think, as like a big brother. Where this other guy was 70 at the time. Very great coach, but there was just such a generation gap that I think sometimes that relationship was a little skewed. So when I came in, it was really great. I mean, the relationships were amazing. Kids were awesome. I mean, some of these, like I said, they're like little brothers to me, and little sisters even too, because some of them are now college on and moving away. So yeah, it was a cool start.
Yeah, and so with coaching, you talked about more of the peer aspect, and you feel like to be able to relate to that generation was a little bit easier. The communication skills, and with golf, it's a very disciplined, necessary sport to play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get frustrated. I cannot drive, I cannot putt, but I have my irons.
I think everyone gets frustrated. It sucks.
Oh my gosh, I think some people do it for therapy. I would need therapy from my golf game, but you mentioned that you don't coach anymore, but you still have golf involved in your life. So how did that transition really take place from kind of the coaching, maybe the side gig, to something that you are developing here in mid-Missouri?
Yeah, it was there all along. I started playing golf when I was about 16 and a half, and so at that same time I started working at the local golf course, and I was a junior golf instructor, which was hilarious because I just started playing, right? And here I'm instructing it while kind of playing. Really didn't know what I was doing, but it was more of a kid camp, so it was okay. So as my college career as a golfer progressed and I kept getting better, and then I started coaching, I kept doing little instructions along the side. Never thought it was going to be a big thing. It was just, I would see some little kids in the area that, I knew their parents, they wanted some instruction, so I'd help them out. So this went on, I think, about 8 years. And so it was about my third year of coaching for the high school that I started giving quite a bit more lessons. People more reaching out to me, like saying, hey, I hear you do this, I'd love to get started with it. About the time then I started meeting Hannah. She's great with marketing stuff, visual stuff. So like my logo that's made right now, she designed this one day, and then all of a sudden this stuff just starts exploding, right? So she's creating this stuff for me. I'm blasting it out, creating Facebook pages, Instagram pages, and getting tons of followers really quickly. It was kind of like a big, I don't know, just wave that just happened. It just crashed. And so then the next thing I know, I'm starting a nonprofit for junior golf. Alongside this, I'm doing my own performance coaching. And the original goal of this was literally just to try to help kids do better than I did. I was not good at golf. I mean, you talk about frustrating, dude, I sucked. I'm not kidding. My first tournament, I shot a 113.
Is that even allowed?
I don't know, but they let me finish. It was not good. I mean, I was not a golfer, man. I was a basketball player, baseball player, football. I did all this other stuff, and I was just very athletic, but golf was just so different. It was hard. And yeah, this first tournament I ever played in, I was 17. First tee shot. There's a tree like right in front of the tee box, about 30 yards.
Of course.
Okay, about 30 people, and I watched these first two guys get up and just stripe it down the middle, and I'm thinking, oh, that's how you're supposed to hit it. I've never hit a ball like that, and here I am in a tournament. I get up, hit this tree, goes backwards into the crowd. So I'm negative 20 yards to start. Now I'm like in panic mode. Get up there, there's more trees on the way now. Hit another tree, goes backwards again. At this point, people are like clearing out. I proceed to hit it in the fairway. I kept moving, shot a 113 that day. So that was actually the moment. It was either I'm going to continue with this sport or I'm going to give it up forever. And I think that was such a great thing for me to feel that and experience that, and then use that as like a motivation to get it to where I am now, where I'm actually a professional golfer. Play very well, scratch. And I think that's why I got so good at coaching. I think I could relate more on the personal side. So the learning for me to actually teach the swing has been over 10 years, and I'm still learning, getting better at it. I think I've gotten very good at it, but I think the skill that I really had that people, just kind of clung to was I was personal like that. It's not like I was just good and had no idea what you were feeling. It was, when I see you struggling, I've been there. I know that. I've suffered through that. It was years of hard work. So I think for kids to kind of hear that and think, wow, so this guy went through that and now here he is like as a pro. And I'm not like a Tiger Woods by any means, but I think it's great for like a 12-year-old kid who's just starting out to like see that and look at me and think, wow, okay, so he could do that, I could do that. And my goal really was just to help them get there faster. And honestly, to avoid that suffer as much as possible, because oh man, that was the closest I was to tears in an athletic event ever. I mean, that was humbling.
Well, I think that's a very mature and maybe even more profound realization to have, this saying, hey, I felt this way. I'm not the only one who felt this way. What can I do to work on myself? Because a lot of people see, things, maybe you talk about, how you post online and the instruction, and you have this coaching business, and they think, wow, this guy is always good, has always been talented, like
no.
But to be able to have that, just the real conversation, saying, hey, this is where I came from, and over time I was able to do this. And how you saying you want to avoid, or not avoid, but to let people know that, hey, it's okay not to be good at first,
right?
But with patience and practice, and just to have that almost that long-term approach.
Yeah, it's like a process.
Right, and that is a very transferable skill and mindset to have.
Oh my gosh,
Where,
majorly.
do you think that it was intentional that you gravitated towards a sport that takes that kind of discipline and control, and maybe how by working on that you've also been able to utilize some of those skills in other aspects of your life, or kind of
I think so. I think so, majorly.
It blends well.
Yeah, because I mean, along with that kind of first experience with golf, I suffered a lot of anxiety issues my freshman year of college, just a couple years after that. And obviously, a lot of athletes do. Performance pressure is a real thing, but when it starts taking over your entire life to where you can't function hardly, you have social withdrawal. And I'm a very social person, so for me to go through some of that and then get to the point where I'm on like a first tee box just having like a full-on panic.
Right.
I mean, that was a lot to go through. So in a weird way, I think it was perfect that I found golf to kind of match that. I think without it, I don't know if I would have dealt with some of those personal issues as well. Because it was either, I mean, that was the choice I always felt like I had. It was either give up and just submit to it, or work past it and grow through it. I chose to work past it and go through it. It wasn't easy, but I did it. And that's really the kind of skill I try to teach these junior golfers as well. That's what I love about it. It's not even just about the skill anymore. It's about how to handle life, how to handle emotion. And I think our generation currently is very poor at that. We're getting better, but I think there's just a big lapse in that education aspect. That's what I noticed as a teacher too, is we kind of just brushed over that part. I know, it's not going to stop.
This is an active conversation. We don't have a film crew. This is all just very organic.
This is raw. Yeah.
This is true life.
But yeah, man. So I think it was a perfect match for me to find it. It's not for everyone, but I think the way I've found that and the crazy personal relation I have with the sport, and that's kind of how I present it and project it onto people, is why I've gotten so successful with the teaching. I mean, it started from just a little fun thing I did to Hannah comes in my life, creates the logo, and now all of a sudden, like, I'm servicing over 250 people in the state with lessons, and I'm having trouble keeping up. Like, we're making a joke that you are the camera person, like you're doing all, dude, that is how I run this thing. It's all on me. It was never meant to be a full-time gig. It was just something I enjoyed. It was fun to work with people. I really love people. It's cool. It's fun to see people. You can see light bulbs happen. You can see connections being made, and it's fun to kind of see them grow. And every now and then get this random text. Like, for instance, last week, there was a kid that was at a local college here. I'll leave the name out, but struggling very personally, struggling with academics, social, and of course then golf was a struggle as well. Because when you're not feeling good with your life, it carries into your sport. We worked a lot on this stuff, and we would sit there on the range working on technique, obviously, but we talked through, life skills and, meditation things. Like, I love different meditation things you can do actually on the golf course during the game. And all of a sudden now, it's a year later, he's in Florida now at a different school. He sends me a text like last week. He's like, dude, just got second place in a college golf tournament. It was unreal, like the transformation. And I truly think it's not so much the technique, it was more the life kind of altering that he was doing. It was the lifestyle change. Just he's working out better, he's meditating better. It's cool how all that kind of comes together. I mean, it doesn't have to be golf, man. It could be professional, it could be whatever. It could be your relationship with spouse. I mean, it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think that's another just reason why I'm so grateful to have you as a friend in my life, is because we started off on a very, it was, humor was matched, got along well, we worked out, have similar casual interests, but I think at the root and the core, it's just a service-driven life that we both share. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show, is just to express the gratitude that I have for you as a friend, that you constantly I know how hard you work. You make it look easy, but I know that it's not. So
it's all highlights on social media, man. It's all highlights.
But here's the thing, if you can look at it in that way where you only see the good things, but since I know you and I know the work that you put in, it's like, yes, that's something to be proud of. And you don't post to it's never focused on you. It's focused on the development, the skill, the athlete, and that is just it's very refreshing. And I think I see you leading and instructing and teaching and growing and getting even even bigger. And you know, I'm proud to call you a friend, proud to know you. So thank you very much. So what do you have?
Thanks, man.
What's coming up on the line for you? I mean, I know that you have all of this stuff going on, but is there a trajectory? Is there something that that you, where do you want to see this moving forward, or
yeah,
what do you have looking forward to? What do you have to look forward to right now? I mean, with all the work that you've put in, what do you want to come of it?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't actually truly know if I know what I want to come of it, which sounds weird. It almost sounds like I don't have goals. I do have goals with it, obviously, but I'm trying not to limit it as like, oh, this is exactly the thing I want. I'm trying to just kind of keep doing exactly what I'm doing to the best I can, that ability, and just kind of watching the avenues that open. Like, for instance, this year, actually starting January, I started working as a assistant golf coach for the local university, D2, like NCAA. Never thought I would hit that level. It's very hard to get into that level. You just have to have the experience, and I just was never in that position to do it. And all of a sudden, because of this, that opportunity's open. And now I'm working with some great, phenomenal girls at Lincoln here that, man, they're so talented, so much fun. It's different to work with a person at that level just because they adapt so quickly. And it changes my coaching. Like, I'll get some kids that are just brand new. We may spend a whole hour working on one exact skill, and it takes them a long time to get there. I'm working with kids now that when I say something, it's like, bam, 2 swings later, we're there. So I have to work faster, harder. Hannah and I, with our nonprofit that we started a few years back, we are actually changing that this year. So it worked out really well originally. It was more just kind of opened up to whoever wanted to be part of it. It was a full year of performance coaching. The one thing I hated about it, dude, it bugged me. And I know it's something that needed to be done, but also at the same time I hated it, was the cost. I couldn't get rid of it. The initial idea behind Wanted Golf that we started was I wanted kids to have access to golf, which I still think is a very elite sport. It's hard to get into. Just different social, economic backgrounds can make it challenging, whatever you want to call it. And we got it decreased, which was cool. I mean, we got courses to say for, you know, $200, this kid could have full access to the place for a year, which is phenomenal. It's a really good price, I thought. And alongside that, we would have about $150 worth of gear. We would have access for me all year to these kids. We had some indoor TrackMan places we used. So it was okay for the price we were going, but again, it still put financial burden on families. And because of that, I noticed there was a certain clientele I was getting and a certain clientele I wanted that I was not getting. That was just kind of the nature of the beast. So we actually this year, oh, that was a big spin. We are going this year with Boys and Girls Club. We are actually friends with our hairstylist, who her husband is the chief of police in the area, and he's actually part of Boys and Girls Club on the board, and he's helping us get connected. So this year what we're going to do is starting in April. Actually, it's April now. Yeah, it's coming up quick. So once a month we're going to have a completely free open clinic to junior golfers. Anyone can be a part of it, whether you're Boys or Girls Club or not. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have some of these like other collegiate level golfers that I work with there. And the idea is we're just going to make it extremely fun, get kids access. I have tons of golf clubs I'm going to bring, and it's not going to be extremely performance driven necessarily, but more I want to make the experience great. Like, I want them to fall in love with it to the point that we're going to basically force the sport to be just knocked down a level. I don't want it up there like it is right now. I want it here where anyone can have it, and just find, hopefully, you know, there's a lot of these kids out there like this. They're so crazy athletic that they just don't have the chance to show how good they are at this. And if they could just show it, I'm positive some of these scholarships that are getting wasted, like girls golf, it would not be wasted. There's kids out there that could do it. It's just, do they have the opportunity to do it? So I'm really, really excited for that. We finally got rid of the cost aspect this year. It's going to be the first year trying it this way with no cost, which can be dangerous when you put free on things. But I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. And I have zero doubts in my mind that you're going to impact a lot more people and serve a lot more people than you even realize. Because conversation matters, you know, and this is going to be localized in mid-Missouri, or are you going to be...
Yeah, we're going to use the Jeff City Boys and Girls for now.
Okay.
The one thing I loved about Boys and Girls is obviously it's everywhere.
Correct.
So I could really see this, hopefully, if it goes well here, start branching out and just exploding and make me have even less time in my life, but that's okay. It's totally worth it.
I
My New Year's resolution was work-life balance this year. Working very hard on that. So
That is incredible, and I think that this this is something that needs to be shared, and hopefully the people who see this are able to realize, you know, or understand that, hey, if they see your name associated with something, it's a whole different level than just getting out and playing golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a whole.
Sure.
You have Levi Elder behind you, and I think any team that has, you know, associated with you, I think is going to be very successful. And you know, it's one of those things where golf is more of the. I have that same kind of connotation where it's like a little bit more of the elite, the higher end, the accessibility, but you bring it down, and you know, these people can see, you know, professionals like Mickelson and Woods and all these other golfers, and it's like, I can see it, but can I do it? And to be able to do that, I think to be able to provide that opportunity is absolutely incredible, and I look forward to seeing what you have in store. However I can support you, I will do that.
I know that. Yeah, I got your number.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Levi, thank you very much for taking time to not only host me here at your home, but for being part of my life. I love you, and I look forward to whatever we can get into next. However we can help other people, I know it's going to be good.
Absolutely, man. Love you too, buddy. Thanks, man.